How to build the best and easy villager crop farm in Minecraft. These are the resources you will need for this farm. Alright, so before we get started on this farm, I would highly recommend you build it at least 80 to 100 blocks away from any of the villagers. So anyways, to get started on this farm, you will have to find a middle point where this farm is going to be, which is going to be right here for me. And then you will have to break yourself out a 3x3 block area. Then you will have to break this down one more block. And then once you have done this, break out the middle block one more down, then place a chest inside this middle room, and then build yourself one hopper going up from that chest, then one hopper to the left and to the right of that hopper. Then expand the two corner hoppers by one hopper going upwards, place yourself some hoppers going out from these two hoppers, and then simply link up one of these like this. So what you should have now is something that looks like this. So pretty much a chest with then hoppers going into the chest and then hoppers just going up in a circle like this. Now it really doesn't matter which way the hoppers are facing. The only thing that matters is that whenever you drop a block into any of the corners of these hoppers, they should all link up to the middle chest. And we can check this by breaking ourselves down here. And as we can see, I dropped 4 grass blocks into these hoppers and 4 are in the chest, which means that these hoppers are placed correctly. So anyways, once you've done this, you will have to place yourself some fences on top of all of these hoppers. And then you will have to select one side to begin with. So I'm going to start right here. So going out from this middle fence right here, you will have to build yourself 8 blocks going outwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then you will have to do this on all of the sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So anyways, what you will have to do now is go to one of the tips of these pillars you built going outwards. Then go 1 block up, 1 block out, place a block right here. Then build yourself 8 blocks going out from this block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then look to the right, and now we should be at the same point as this pillar right here. So what you will have to do now is go 1 block up, 1 block to the left, then build blocks until you reach the other side. So what you should have now is something that looks like this. So what you will have to do now is do the same on all the other sides. So pretty much go from this block, 1 down, 1 out, then build blocks until over here. And yeah, then pretty much just do this. Alright, so once you've done this, what you will have to do now is expand this 1 block going upwards.
A few moments later.
Alright, so once I've done this, what I recommend you do now is place yourself some slabs on top of these walls. Now these slabs are not required, but I would recommend it just to prevent mobs from spawning on these walls. Alright, so once I've done this, what you will have to do now is find the middle point of these rooms, which you can do by simply heading into the back corner, then count 5 blocks going diagonally inwards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then break the 5th block and replace it with a water source. And if you then build or fly straight up from that water source, what you should have now is that the water source should be in the middle of this room. Then you will have to do the same on all the other sides, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ordering. So anyways, once you've done that, what you will have to do now is hoe down all this land using any kind of hoe, and then you will simply have to plant the crops you want inside this farm. So anyways, what you want to do now is plant the crops you want farmed into each of these rooms. So I'm going to use the 4 main crops, which is going to be seeds, beetroots, carrots and potatoes, and I'm going to plant 1 in each of these rooms. But of course, if you only want to get potatoes from this farm to use as food source, then you can only use potatoes. That's fully up to you. So anyways, then just plant whatever crops you want to have in this farm, and yeah. Alright, so once you've planted all the crops you want, what we will have to do now is head into each of these rooms, and then you will have to grab yourself a composter and then place a composter on top of the water source, which you can do by simply looking at one of the plants like that. And then once you've done that, you will also have to place yourself a light source on top of this composters, which you can do by shift clicking and then place yourself a light source. Now I'm going to use a glowstone simply because why not, but you can also place yourself a solid block and then simply have torches all around there. It doesn't matter too much, but I'm just going to use a glowstone, so yeah. So anyways, then just do this in all of the rooms, pretty much like this. Alright, and once you've done this, what you will have to do now is head into this room and then place yourself a composter inside here too. Then you will also have to place yourself a roof of slabs pretty much all above the fences, like this. Alright, so now the main step of the farm is done, and all we really have to do now is place yourself some beds out and then get some villagers into this farm. So what I'm going to do is get some villagers inside here. So what I'm going to do first is get ourselves 1 villager inside this room right here, and then what you will have to do is get yourself 4 villagers into these rooms, so 1 into each of these rooms. So what I would recommend you do is simply build yourself something like this and then have some railings on top of here, and then simply bring the villagers in using minecarts, which of course will be the easiest. But anyway, since I'm being creative, I'm obviously just gonna spawn them in pretty much like this. So anyways, once you have yourself 1 villager inside each of these rooms and of course 1 villager inside here, the farm is pretty much done, well beside 1 small step. So what we will have to do now is select one of these sides to get to the chest, of course. So I'm going to select over here, and I'm simply going to break myself 3 blocks out from here, then build myself a small tunnel going downwards, and then I'm just going to break myself straight forward until I reach the chest. Pretty much like this. Then I'm obviously going to expand this room to be a bit bigger, just to have a bit more space. And then what I'm going to do is expand this chest to be a bit bigger, because I would recommend you do that simply because this farm will bring in a lot of resources. And to expand this even more, what you can do is place yourself more chests right here, with then hoppers right here, and then you can expand this even more downwards, pretty much like this. So it's pretty simple to expand, and I would recommend you have quite a few chests here, simply because a farm design like this will produce a lot of, well, crops. So anyways, what we will have to do now is place yourself some beds inside there to make sure that the villagers pick up the workstations, and become farmers. So since we have 5 villagers here, I'm gonna need 5 beds. Now it doesn't matter too much where you place the beds, so I'm just gonna place them over here. So what I'm gonna do is place myself 4 blocks right here, then 2 blocks on top of the back of these blocks, then I'm gonna place a bed right here, beds right here, and then 2 more beds under these blocks or under these beds, pretty much like this. So anyways, what you should see now is some green particles coming off of the beds, and that should be the villagers collecting the beds or selecting the beds. So what we can do now is get out of here, and as you can see, all the villagers should now be turned into farmers, and you can confirm that by the fact that they have the little hat on them. And also be careful as zombies can walk down there, because this will be the closest way to get to the middle villager. So what I would recommend you do is place yourself some trapdoors right here. And also to prevent mobs from spawning down here, I would recommend you place a light source down here. So anyways, what we can do now is simply get out of here, and now the farm is pretty much done. So how this farm will work is that when these crops are grown, because these villagers are farmers, these villagers will harvest these crops, and because they want to breed with this guy in the middle right here, what will happen is that they will head over here and then try to throw the crops at this person right here. And when they do that, the crops will be picked up by the hoppers. So as you can see, I just threw a carrot. Let's now throw another carrot, and then a third carrot, and what will happen now if we head under here is that the carrots should land into the chest, as you can see. So this means that the crops will not get sent into the middle villager, but they will rather be picked up by the hoppers and then sent down into the chests.
A few moments later.
Okay, so after a little bit of AFKing, here you can see what the farm has dropped. Quite a few potatoes, quite a few carrots, some beetroots, and of course some bread, which comes from the wheat. So yeah, anyways guys, that is how to build a pretty easy and very good villager crop farm in Minecraft. So anyways, that is it for this one. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions about how this works or anything like that, feel free to leave them down below and I'll try to answer your questions as quickly as possible. So anyways, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.